It's fine work. It could be enchantable. If you ever needed runes carved, perhaps this would be your man.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at you like he doesn't even need to watch his left hand move.
I speak both Dwarven and Giant, so do I at least have some familiarity with it?
Yep. It is effectively it's like somebody carving the alphabet over and over, or parts of the alphabet. It's not actually words.
Okay.
Does it mean anything at you?
Well, what does art mean? What does it make you feel?
No, but this specific piece you work upon.
I'm not even sure what I would call it. I would call it, breaking your fast.
Do you ever stop? Etching, that is.
No, I'm sure there are some out there that have tried to make him stop.
His eyes flash in a bit of anger.
Can I detect magic on him?
Sure.
What does he do? Does he look magical?
Some of his tools are magical. His cloak is magical. He doesn't have any spells running on him, if that's what you're asking.
I'm trying to see if he's like under a compulsion.
Sense motive. You don't see any enchantment on him.
Nine for me and 8 for the hand.
Okay, so no, just some crazy dwarf that likes etching.
Carry on.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
Perhaps I'd like to see all of my cars. Oh yes, BB has taken a liking to the art of one of our other residents.
About that cocktail, though.
Yeah, he goes over and goes into a lounge and...
Hopefully that the supplies you're waiting on aren't alcohol.
Would you be willing to sell your little tooth fairy?
No, I'm afraid not. I have a high opinion of the Fae.
Oh, well. That's unfortunate. What do you intend on doing with your art?
I will display it to those that appreciate it the most.
Well, if you sold it to me, I would display it right here.
And he goes over to like an empty table in the corner of this parlor where he's mixed like a martini for himself and the professor.
Splendid.
For all those that come through this house, they will see the true horror of a tooth fairy.
I will give my martini to the unseen servant to hold and carry for me.
Okay.
I will make something specifically for you, inspired by what I have seen here.
Oh, well, perhaps I should show you more. Etcher is a repetitive artist. You could get tired of seeing those runes over and over. There are others that are a breath of fresh air, but perhaps just a flash in the pan. We shall see, BB, we shall see. She's probably out back, throwing herself at something.
Ooh. He wanders through the house and goes out back to a private garden, and yep, there is a naked halfling woman covered in paint who's running at a sheet that she has pinned up like a net, and she runs into the sheet, and there is now a naked halfling outline of a woman on the sheet, and she kind of falls back giggling. BB goes right over to her and starts giggling with her.
Oh, poor Luudo. If only he were here. The professor will say as he takes his martini from the unseen servant, takes a sip and hands it back.
Yep, the halfling woman does a cartwheel and then lands into this little like kiddie pool full of swirls of paint and is repainting herself.
I'll go up and stare at the canvas.
Okay, this particular one, let's see with the acrobatic art. That wasn't bad. It smudged a little bit, but you almost have the outline of...
I'll stand behind her looking at the canvas as well and say, well, what do we call this one then?
I don't know, she says. The little fairy dragon is laughing, and Zebediah is standing there with robe half open, staring at it.
Well, eventually you'll get the right one. Don't think that one's it, though.
An interesting exploration of motion and color, though.
Indeed. Do you spend time anywhere but here?
Oh, me? She says. She's just sitting in the paint.
Yes.
Ah.
What do you think of this place? What's happened to the world?
Well, the world needs a lot of color.
Yes, it does. I have to agree with her very much.
True.
I must say, as a fan of the autumn, the changing leaves and the many colors that it produces, yes, I think I can respect your art.
Yes, she doesn't paint as much as just throw color at things. I'm not sure, really. I'm really not sure.
This is how nature works.
It's quite gauche, I think.
Do you have any performance artists? I'll say as I walk back.
There's a Greek around here somewhere. Just follow your ear.
And you could hear that, like, there has been this constant somebody playing a violin.
Splendid.
I much prefer visual arts, but it is pleasant to have a Greek around.
Yes. Always been a fan of old stonework and sculpture myself, but I've dabbled in a bit of the performance piece lately.
You are an artist. I thought you said you were a professor.
Oh, yes. A professor of all works, but I find myself more compelled these days to flights of creative fancy.
Let us meet your Grig.
You want to meet the Greek?
Oh, of course. We've come to meet all the artists and see the collection. Do I get the sense that he's gonna murder us at any point?
No, he looks like he was hungover and wanted a drink and is really into his art.
Yeah, okay.
I thought so, but you never know in D&D
Never know.
who's gonna just be trying to murder you.
He also seems really, really, like, surprisingly at ease around strangers marching through his house.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He doesn't seem concerned by us too much.
No.
Which makes me think these artists are also...
Grigori! Where is he? Grigori!
I'm right here.
Grigori, they wanted to meet you.
Oh, you have a request?
Ooh. I don't suppose you would be willing to do a duet, Fereosae? I haven't heard your pipes in quite some time.
I would love to. Yes, I would love to. I'll pull out the pan pipes. Shall we improvise?
I'm going to need another drink if we're going to do any sort of...
Yes, perhaps drinks around then, a bit of a concert. I will say as I
He goes running from this while leaving you with Cinta and Bibi and Grigori. Grigori plays a note and then looks up at Fereosae.
Dueling banjos.
Alright, so they're going to do...
And then we'll go ahead and play together.
Give me 2 performance checks, please.
Absolutely.
Just one. I'm going to give one for Grigori.
As they start playing, can I summon a major illusion to dance along and act out what the spirit of the song seems to entail?
27, not too bad.
14. Okay. He got a 20. So 27 is actually really good.
Yeah.
You get the sense of it like foxes or something being chased through the woods. The chase might be back and forth. It gets slow, it gets fast, it gets slow again, and then there's kind of a crescendo at the end.
Tell
I'll
me.
throw in a craft illusion.
Sure.
What inspires your art? Is it inspired by where you come from or where you grew up?
26.
When I grew up in the slough.
In the slough.
Yes.
The grig also makes lots of like chirping noises. It's almost like a big ass fey cricket.
Have you ever been to the Malavella woods?
No?
Hmm.
Why would I go there?
I hear there are other grigs.
Oh, that sounds like wilderness.
Yes, yes. It's as close as you could get around here.
Trees are not as many places to hide in trees. There are many places to hide in attics and in shops and businesses and
Oh,
homes.
interesting. I suppose that's true.
Have you...
You realize that you've met a city fae. One who has grown up and lived in the city and seems to have no desire to leave.
Have you...
What of your friends, the ones you grew up with? What has become of them in this chaos?
They're on the streets. They hide.
It says to it, Faye.
Lately?
If you need a place to hide, I can show you.
Not right now.
Are these your
Soon.
patrons?
Hmm?
I heard you say that you are an artist. Are these your patrons? Do they pay for your art and feed you and treat you nice?
They treat me well enough.
Oh.
But there is another who has been taking more than he's been giving. This Spyder and his wicked Spriggan doctor.
Oh, yes, brigands are bad.
Many Fae have been captured and tortured and killed by them. You should come and help us.
Come and help you? How could my pipes come and help?
Can you make them dance? Can you make them laugh and fall over?
Oh, yes, but I have to be close to them, and that might not be nice. No.
That's a good
Give me a
point.
sense motive.
22.
27.
Gregorian knew who the spider was and really doesn't want to do it. There might be some other reason there. Two people do stomp into the room. One is
This
actually
is sense motive, right?
Yep.
Okay, I don't get it.
What about your friends?
Too little. There is a very large man that looks like he's made out of rock. Strange blue glowing eyes. Pixel whispers into Fereosae's ear that he says that's the sculptor. And you can see this really, really like timid but tall, like beanstalk tall human. He's got like an apron on that suggests that he's a painter. He's got all sorts of like paint all over him. He looks really, really worried when he sees all of you in here.
I will, after having acted out the song with a fox running around mad, have it just still hanging out by my feet panting, which is why there's a fox token there.
Okay, Etcher had seemed to wander over when the music was playing. He is with his fingernail making marks in the skin of an apple that he's got in his hands. The sculptor just sort of sniffs at some of the food. Ah, yes, here are the other two resident artists. This is Gomez the sculptor. He can make anything out of stone. Oh, greetings. And this is our extraordinary painter, Salvatore Scream. I don't like that name.
Yeah. Yes, it is a bit of an unfortunate moniker, but pleasure to meet you, Salvatore.
He looks
What do you paint?
he looks like a weird dread came over his face when you actually addressed him.
Why are you so afraid?
He stammers a little bit. Salvatore sees things in his dreams.
Ooh. Do you now? I'll say, stepping up to him.
Tell us our fortunes then. Tell us our futures.
He shakes his head like, oh no, he is no common fortune teller.
Salvatore sees things as other people do not.
Perhaps he is haunted, perhaps just simply his mind works in a different way. But his paintings are exquisite.
Tell me, Salvatore, have you seen the patrons of the wax? The way it pours forth from their skin? Awakened one, perhaps coming down a long hallway after a long slumber? Do you hear his call?
He seems to be caught into some, like, waking hellscape.
Can I do psychometry on people?
Don't mind Salvatore, he'll eventually put it onto canvas. He doesn't go mad first.
I'll be curious to see it.
They're not ready, is what he says. They're not ready! He goes running.
Do you see the curses upon us all?
He goes running from the room. Artists. They are fragile creatures, which is why I create such a beautiful space for them to remain like a cradle, a baby in a cradle. At the same time, don't coddle them too much.
I would like
He has taken up residence in the attic.
Oh, I would very much like to see his works.
So I'm sure you would. But there are many patrons out there that would pay a premium price for even the smallest painting of our dear boy Salvatore.
Oh, really?
Yes,
He
really.
is that famous indeed. I would
Quite.
very much like to see his works. As I have handed the illusion over to Icky Maester, and it is running around insanely still.
Gomez.
What is that?
This is the fox from the song.
Oh, okay. Is that what it's running around?
Yeah. So it's just circling.
You were mentioning something about your art, and then it started to turn about some sort of sprigging. I really don't want to get involved in your problems.
No problems.
The artists don't want to get involved in your problems either.
Oh, we have no pressing problems. We were making idle chatter about the world these days. It is quite fruitful for inspiration these times of trial.
Some people consider us to be problem solvers.
Oh,
Do you have any problems that need to be solved?
some people consider us to be problems.
Well, that too.
He gives the professor a wink and touches his nose.
I will sneeze. Excuse me. And I'll say as I wink back.
Perhaps there's something I could show your professor of arts here.
Yes,
He glances down at the box.
I would be most interested.
The hindquarters are wrong.
Oh, I always thought they were a bit large on this one.
Too much rabbit, not enough dog.
It was but a joyous fancy. In any case, I'll let it disappear.
Entertain yourselves. BB, can you get them some, I don't know, lemonade? I like lemonade. Of course you do, BB. Of course you do.
He brings the professor off to the side.
Illusion stuff.
Are you here because you're running low as well?
Yes, it seems that a little of my inspiration is worn thin.
Oh, I always appreciated illusion arts. I just didn't know enough wizards.
Yes, well, I have found it quite the amusing distraction these days. Like I said, prone to flights of fancy and creative bouts.
The problem with illusions is that they're just so ephemeral.
Indeed.
They're gone. How do you collect them? Although I was told that some illusions can be made permanent. Are you such an illusion crafter? I would very much like to have some illusory art.
He's taking out a small snuff box, and there's this little tiny, like, straw, like, I don't know, spoon. He opens it up, and there's some fey dust inside.
Which is ground up. What is fey dust? Do I know? Is this the ground up fairy wings we've been looking for?
Give me a craft alchemy.
I don't have that. Would it any
Knowledges be applicable?
Alchemy?
I don't have anything alchemy.
What about
Same here.
An int check?
Sure, you can get it in check.
I'm gonna go with that. 20.
Yeah, it is definitely ground fairy dust, probably prepared in some other way. It is the stuff that got Malbut into trouble, and you realize that he's offering you a snort.
Do I know at what level I could make permanent illusions?
There's a spell called Permanent Illusion.
And that's the only
I
way.
believe so. Permanent Image is what it's called. 6th level. You'd have to be alive.
That's the problem with illusions.
He takes a little snort and then offers you
I
some.
will, so that Fereosae doesn't see, indulge a bit. Ooh, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Give me a fort save.
I've been working up to a masterpiece or two, but I don't want to quite reveal what it will be yet. If you could pardon an old man his foibles. 19.
Okay. It makes you feel super alert.
Ooh.
You feel really active. You're not feeling any pain.
Ooh,
Maybe
this is
slightly aggressive.
quite, quite stimulating.
And there's like a jumble of thoughts, but they're like fire. Like it's like your brain's firing really quick.
How
Yes,
how do you maintain such a potent supply with things so amok these days?
Well, you had mentioned the Spyder. If you're going there, perhaps you could purchase some more for me. He seems to be busy with other pursuits. He hasn't been making his rounds as of late.
I hear he's become thinks quite highly of himself, fancies himself some sort of slumlord here now, or some damn thing.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Leaving the manor is risky business. Perhaps you and your thuggish entourage could go and purchase some for me.
No.
Don't worry, Spyder knows that. Spyder knows who I am.
Yes, I would think he would be kind to his customers. No trouble for you or for me acting in your stead.
Yes, yes. I would appreciate it.
I suppose we can see what we can do. As far as a permanent installation for you, I think I will have to ponder as to what sort of creation would best suit the, I'll gesture around, decorum.
That'll be the day. We shall see if you could create a permanent illusion. The Fae already tricked me once.
No.
Oh, yes, it was permanent, at least until I figured out that it's permanent until they cast their next permanent illusion.
Ah, yes.
I paid quite a lot for them,
No.
only to have them slowly disappear and having no Fae to complain to. Again, ephemeral.
Oh,
Way too ephemeral.
mm.
No, aside from this, is there a particular reason why you've come here?
Oh, like we said, heard there was an interesting art installation and wanted to do a bit of browsing, see if there are any true artists in this world these days.
Well, these are all not quite their masterpieces, but I'm sure that it would help adorn your office or make a gift to a colleague. I am also their art dealer, if you will.
Ah,
Feel free to put a price on things. I have not brought you into my personal gallery, of course.
of course. I will have to look around. Perhaps some of the Scream's paintings may interest me.
Oh, Salvatore's work is not for sale.
Oh, most exclusive.
At least not yet. Perhaps if you show that you are of suitable caliber and weight of purse,
No, perhaps.
I'll invite you to his gala once things calm down.
Perhaps we shall wait till he finally does go mad. That will certainly double the price of his works, I would think.
Oh, some days you don't live with him. He's called Scream for a reason. He's like a rooster. If only a rooster woke up at the same time every day. But I know his work is worth it.
Now you do surely build a man's fascination.
No, there are all sorts of statuettes that Gomez has been creating. I'm sure there's some in there that would strike your fancy.
Yes, let's take a look.
Yeah, you find he's a decent sculptor. You find animals, people, gods, all sorts of sculptures, from as small as an inch tall to like big behemoth like statues 6, 7, 8 feet tall.
Anything of the professor's flavor?
Maybe some of the gods statues, although they're all false gods, given that there's only one true god and it's yourself.
That's true. That is very true. Have you ever thought of commissioning another god piece?
Which one am I missing?
Oh,
He scratches his head a little bit.
you're missing quite a new one, good sir.
New god?
There are rumors of him. Perhaps you've even seen his visage in your travels. I'm told he wanders this world in human form still.
What new god?
Oh, I've spoken too much already, Shirley.
Did I give you a pet?
You can shape stone, yes?
Yes, I can mold it with my hands.
Can you shape me an absence, a void that could be set in stone?
Explain.
I wish to take a piece of stone, a wall, and make it open instead.
He grabs a piece of stone and lets you hold it.
Yes.
Bang it against the table.
All right, I'll bang it against the table. Bang,
Okay.
bang, bang.
Yeah, it makes a noise. It seems like it's a solid piece of rock. He takes it into his hands. The rock then melts and turns into a perfect rounded cube.
Oh,
And then he hands it to you.
yes.
And you bang it against the table, and it sounds hollow.
Ah, very nice. Very nice. But not one that I could take with me and deploy, as it were.
No, I must touch the stone to make it move. And I can only do it a few times per day.
Thank you for showing me with one of those few rare times, then. This is fantastic.
You may keep the cube.
Thank you.
He looks at like like Zedediah, like he's forgetting something.
I'd call it the void in the cube.
Void. Yes.
Apt name.
A beautiful piece of art. I will bring you something of my own construction one day soon.
Oh yes, Gomez is a mastery of stone. He also carves and chisels the old way. Sometimes he carves and chisels before he actually uses the proper stone, his final stone. He must make his decisions quick, and Gomez is not very quick of mind.
Sometimes I carve the traditional ways, and sometimes I use other mechanisms as well.
Yes, he's getting better day by day at naming his creations. Although you gave him a little help.
Fucking Zedediah, whatever happened with him and the professor, he's a little more edgy.
We call it inspiration,
Yes.
us artists. Makanam, for keeping.
What a fascinating purse. Are you sure it's not for sale, Fant?
I am pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. Means that there's a negotiation.
I don't want to be sold.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Yes, well, unless you're here to purchase any more art, I don't want you making any... It appears that we've already made some donations.
He seems annoyed.
Oh, yes, well, it has been quite stimulating, I suppose, if the Screams collection is still off limits. We've seen the rest of the collected works. Perhaps we'll drop by another time and just...
Oh, yes, Professor, you'll have to drop... He's shaking your hand now. You'll have to drop by once you've visited our mutual friend.
Oh, yes, of course, I will say, shaking back emphatically.
Tell him double. It's been some time, and, well, my artists are getting boring.
Indeed, yes, of course. Well, thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for stopping by. I look forward, if you ever come across any strange art, or are in the mood to purchase something.
Yes, I will inquire again about when the Scream is ready for his debut.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, trust me, he's hard at work. The only way for him to get rid of his demons is...
He's now searching around for another cigarette.
Well,
I'm gonna play with colors.
For BB.
Yes, BB, of course.
well, shall we?
He's now herding you guys out.
Grigori says,
It was a pleasure, Fereosae.
He says quickly to you.
Wait, says what?
It was a pleasure, Fereosae.
Yes, it was.
Be careful with the Spriggan.
I will be careful with myself, but I don't think I'll handle the Spriggan with care.
That Spriggan will crush your wings and turn you into dust.
I know. That's why we have to work together and stop him.
I don't know what I can do.
Tell all your friends. The time is coming.
I am safe here. Yes, I can do that. I could
Tell
sing
them all.
and let the other hidden fairies know.
Good.
Our patron will not like it.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
He flies off.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice for your art.
Pixel says,
I don't want to be sacrificed.
Oh no, not that. That applies to other people, not us.
Oh,
Alright, Zedediah's kind of herding you guys out.
Yes, thank you, of course, yes. Well, sure, we'll exchange pleasantries and be our normal slow to pick up on the cue selves as we
Yeah. He's halfway done his cigarette by the time you guys are leaving. It looks like you're giving him a headache.
Yeah. Oh, do you know any good establishments close by?
Establishments? I don't know. It's a slew. There's good and bad everywhere. Go and experience life for yourselves.
Oh, good advice as always.
What do you think? Scout out the neighborhood around the Bottle and Blade?
Yeah, once we leave, I'll say.
Oh, you guys are leaving. You follow the path, and
Yeah.
he leads you halfway out. He just sort of sits there, kind of squinting against the light of the day as you guys leave.
I think we are, right?
Are we leaving, are you asking?
Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. So you visited the Magnolia house and met some of the artists that live there.
Well, I don't think the patron will be much help in overthrowing the Spyder, as it were.
Tech is covered in colors. Apparently, you just stood there while the little naked halfling woman and the fairy dragon put a bunch of colors on him.
Nice. It seems that our friend there, the patron, is one of the Spyder's customers, as it were. He would like another order of a particularly potent concoction of fey dust. Seems the artists in residence require a bit extra motivation or inspiration, as it were.
How unfortunate.
Yes, but it will give us a clever cover for getting into the door were we to use it.
Yes, I suppose so.
But your conversation with that Fae poses another interesting question. How much of those Fae in the area do you think we could rally to the cause of killing the man who's killed so many of your kind?
It's hard to say. I don't know too many of the urban fae, but I could spend some time trying to find them.
Yes, Fae are a bit fickle creatures, I found. Maybe difficult to motivate them to do such a thing, but
Yes, I should imagine.
maybe worth it. Tough nut to crack we're faced with.
Okay, where to now?
Well, we don't want to attack Spyder now.
I'd be interested in just seeing when people come and go. Is there a time when the thugs sort of wander off to sleep someplace?
Yeah, is there any place nearby, like, where we could post up and not, I think, probably not be on the street, but be able to watch the street, maybe like a cafe or...
Well, you guys haven't scouted the area. You know what the area looks like when it's all normal. There's a big open square, kind of longer, that faces the lifts, and there are wagons and stalls that line either side, and then there are buildings that line that.
Could we try and find like a bar or some place that's not...
Sai did tell you that at the bottom of the lifts, off to the right-hand side, if you're looking straight at the lifts, there was a granary / mill that may have run dry.
But is there a place where we could hang out and look inconspicuous and keep an eye on that gambling place he runs and see kind of the goings on there?
That might be close enough.
Knowledge local? First, do any of you guys, do you know where that place is?
Well, we could ask Sai, right?
Yes, Sai told you that it's near the lifts. I want to see if you guys are asking specifically, is there a tactical point?
26?
Yeah, you know of the place.
32.
Probably right across the square. The opposite side of the square. Find a building to hunker down in, and you could watch it from across the square.
But is there like a place where it's not weird for us to just be squatting there? I think we'll head over.
Other businesses, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like another business where we could loiter and...
There are lots of businesses around that square. All of them can't be closed.
Alright, I think we want to head there and try and low-key find a place to post up.
Okay.
I agree.
So you guys walk through the streets, see if you run into any of the gang patrols. I roll a 1, you do. Nope. Oh yeah, the square is a mess. It looks like most of the stalls in the center have been abandoned. It looks like there's a barricade. It's kind of hard to tell from here at this end of the square. But the lifts are not moving. The lifts are visibly kind of near the top. Well, that's pretty far up to see. To the left, you can see there are men hanging out in the alleyways and in front of and on top of what look like a series of buildings. You probably don't want to go over there. There are some wagons and maybe even a donkey or two. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that there is a line of people, and then there are some thugs walking along the line. And there's a line of people that are waiting for something.
They're not like queued to get in somewhere, they're just...
It's a giant queue of about 80 people.
Does it end at the lift or at a building?
It ends near the mill.
Ah, like a bread line.
You do see some thuggish looking people walking up and along the line, probably keeping order.
Does it look like a bread line? A lot of hungry looking women and children and stuff?
Yep, it is a bread line.
How interesting.
And you can see the thugs checking people for stuff. You hear overhear one of them saying, "What do you got there? What are you hiding?" But it's for the bread. That's not how it works anymore. And they are robbing that person in line.
Yeah, I think we're gonna stay away from the amassed thugs in the bread line and all that,
Okay.
right? I think
You do see people going to the front and getting bread. Like you can see people putting bread under their shirts and running off in different directions.
I think we're still looking around for someplace across the way to stay.
If you came around and found your way on top of one of the buildings overlooking the bread line, you might be able to like eagle eye perch the entire watch the entire square.
I think we probably want to do
You'd
that.
have to double back and kind of go around.
I think we want to do that and find someplace inconspicuous up there where.
Okay. Who is leading the spy effort? I will allow someone.
Not the Fent. The
I
Fent's
will-
too big.
Yeah, I will allow someone to like take lead for the stealth check,
Probably Pixel.
but everyone has to aid.
Probably Pixel.
Okay, so Pixel's like,
Yeah, I would think Pixel being able to
Sure.
fly and sneak around is our best person to find the places.
Everybody has to aid. That's what
everyone has to aid, but Pixel can offset that by being really good at hiding.
Yeah.
Oh geez, my stealth is -2.
Yep.
And the professor is +2.
+5 actually.
So one
Why
aid.
+5?
Hey, 16 is not too bad. That's an 8.
The Fang's making these like
Familiar makes me stealth better.
you know having the music that plays every time you try to sneak. Doot, doot, doot. Doot, doot. This is the big guy. It's a -2. Like, I can't
2
help
auto aids.
it. That would suck. Okay, 2 auto aids. All right.
Professor.
And
Oops, sorry.
what? How many fails?
The professor aided. Icky Meister doesn't impede it.
Okay.
Oh, he's got.
Oh, Markenham also has to aid, right?
He could either be a bag on your back, and the familiar could just be on your person.
Yeah, I guess
he doesn't
it's
have
on my
to.
shoulder.
Okay.
Tech does have to help.
Yeah, tech stealth is +13.
Okay, so the auto aids.
Yeah, and mine is +12.
All right, so this is actually a really good exercise then, as you guys find your way onto a roof of a building that kind of allows you to see most of the.
Over 50.
Okay, you managed to find a flat roof with like an old crenellation, almost like a stylized crenellation, and as long as the fan stays back,
Yeah.
you guys can kind of just use this to spy on we'll say 50. We'll say you've got this awesome vantage point on a 3-story building
Nice.
that is overlooking the place. The building was the shop was closed, and this looks like it was kind of like a restaurant or something that was up top, and it had been looted already, and nobody had decided to come up here. But you can now see that there are gangs of people that are leaving and coming and going. You can see that there are barricades with three wagons covered, and there are people guarding the lift. And the Bottle and Blade you can see right across the way, and that seems to be the hub of all the activity. Keeping track of when people come and go is a little bit difficult. Keeping track of the changing of the guards at the barricade is probably a little bit more timed. It appears that every 4 hours, people come out from the bar, go and relieve the people that are there. Those people just leave into the city. Some of them actually go back into the bar, and then other people arrive. There seems to be a 4-hour.
Is it a dirt courtyard? Are there any little plants growing?
It is a cobbled courtyard. There are little tufts of plants here and there on the edges of buildings.
Okay. Maybe not enough to run a decent entangle spell?
If somebody was standing next to the tufts of the buildings, they'd be affected.
Right, okay.
I suppose after we've stood or stared out at this,
Well, you left in the morning. You went to the artist's house. You spent a couple hours there, and then you watched this place long enough to know that there's a schedule. So you're probably like nearing the dying. It's like late afternoon at this point.
any sign of Luudo coming out of there?
No sign of Luudo coming in and out.
Well, does anyone have any ideas? I suppose it would be difficult to kill them all. Perhaps just cutting off the head of the spider would do, but...
At what point you do see this armored Fant come out.
I believe...
This is after the second shift change, and he's heading to the barricade.
We've heard some things about him. When they send out patrols, how many are in a patrol?
6. There seems to be 12 at the barricade, but they seem to also shift what they're doing at the barricade.
How many patrols does it seem are out at a time?
Just at the barricade, there are 12 people at all times at the barricade.
But who run or go around the streets and stuff?
40, roving gangs of 8, coming and going. That has not the pattern has not revealed itself in 8 hours of watching.
But it just seems like 8-man gangs coming in and out.
Yes, 4 to 8 men gangs. At one point, you're like, "Holy shit!" There's a lot of people, but you realize that was shift change for the people at the barricade.
It would take a while, but we could start picking off some of these roving gangs.
It's now dinner hour, and the place seems to be hopping. There's a lot of people there.
Seems like we might be able to just get in the front door, get deep in, and then...
In fact, the fewest people you saw there so far was when you first arrived, when it was still morning.
Perhaps go in the morning when very few people are there.
You could start a fire inside, and I'll air quote the fire, and cause everyone to run out while we run in.
I was thinking something along those lines, or...
We could go in to talk to people, and then a commotion could happen outside that would draw out their best fighters.
Yes, I would think they would send their best if they thought that perhaps the lifts were burning down, or...
The Fant had marched out shortly after a shift change and seems to be talking to some of the guards at the barricade.
That seems likely. If that barricade caught fire, they might send some of their best and brightest out to figure out what went on. Or they might circle the wagons and cluster in the place.
Yes, I would think they would make an attempt to save the lifts, though. They are quite fond of the power it gives them, I think.
Yes, this is a good thought.
How many entrances are there?
An astute question.
From your vantage point, there are alleyways to either side. One of the alleyways looks like it's more of a pissing lane because you constantly see people going into that alley and then coming back out.
Is that a technical term? Pissing lane?
There is another side that people aren't going down, and you don't see any other entrances from the face that you're looking at.
But we cannot see a door.
You can see the door. The front door is staring right at you.
And there's just one door.
You positioned yourselves almost in the perfect spot where you're looking directly at the building that was your target. You can't tell what's around back or on the sides. But people are coming out the front to go around the side to pee and then then go back into the bar.
I would imagine there's some sort of back exit. Didn't Sai say something about tunnels underneath?
Perhaps.
Oh yes, he did say that. Yes, says Melbut.
Surely the pissing alley is not the alley that has a secret entrance.
There is a gambling den below that used to have fights. So I didn't like the place because he also runs fights in his basement.
That makes sense. That seems like a good way in.
Just a call to everybody. It's 10 p.m. We promised Levi.
If we had a big commotion outside while we were sneaking in from below, that might be our best bet.
Yes. And what to do once we're inside? We may be able to get one or two through the front door saying that they're here to buy some supplies for our patron friend.
Could. But if we can go in from below, that might be even better.
Yes.
The goal is to kill Spyder, right? Says Melbut.
To kill Spyder and free the mocking fae.
And potentially burn the building to the ground.
Always an option, isn't
I
it?
do like the sound of that, Zephyros.
So do I.
We'll free all the fae, and we'll make them pay for what they've done.
Luudo,
And then they'll respect us.
what message would you send from your familiar to your friends if you were able to sneak your familiar out of the building? They were keeping an eye on you, but
Right. Give me time, we'll report. No drastic measures.
you've
please.
already gotten drunk, and they realize they're not going to let you quite go because they want to learn more about Sai, and they think that you know more than you know than you actually know.
Right. But they'll eventually let me out of there.
He knows less than they hope and more than he's saying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you've been there for now a day, and they're like, every time you go up to leave, they're like, no, there's a chamber pot over there. We'll get some food. Like the fae that you captured was carved up, and they the doctor did something to the wings and.
Burn this bitch down. I don't know.
So what is the before you leave? What is the message that you send? As you realize you're in over your head, if you try to make a break for it, these killers are going to hunt you down.
Potential alchemy. Beware of many enemies. I mean, check the basement. Hidden door. Armoire. Storage room.
Got it. so the cat kind of takes off. You manage to find a spot where the cat can access the stairwell, and then hopefully make it back
There
out.
we go. Yeah. Yeah. Check the basement. Secret entrance. Armoire.
Okay.
Good luck. XOXO.
Luudo the Sweet. You gotta put
Sweet
that
Lou.
sweet Lou. You gotta put that as one of your aliases on your character sheet. Sweet.
I did that because at the end of this, when they eventually their place comes crumbling down, Sweet Lou is going to walk out Hopefully. Unscathed, the perfect spy. Goddamn sweet Lou.
Alright, so I got a sweet Lou and it's spelled LU. That's awesome. Put that as an alias on your character sheet. Okay, before we get to the final thing, I want to know how you guys are approaching. It sounds like you're going to send some of you or all of you around back to try to find a back door.
I think we're probably not gonna. Are we gonna try and do it tonight or in the next morning? It seems like maybe we would try and make a play to get Manny to come this time. Like
we would need Manny.
Especially if
Manny, the red cap, whatever friend red cap brings,
Yeah,
Right.
and then potentially the Fae that you might have recruited from the artist's house, from the Magnolia house. Now, the Fae that you get recruited may not be combat Fae; they may be good for noise, distraction, and
For sure. Yeah,
like
totally fine.
spells from a distance. So it sounds like you guys are gonna.
we're trying to rally the neighborhood to sort of, in some chaotic jumble, hit this place at the same time we do.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we kind of sneak in the back way or from underneath if there's an underneath.
I heard also set the barricade on fire.
Yeah, I think the professor may not be in the sneaking party and may try and run distractions outside.
To keep the 20 or 30 men that are in the square from running into the...
Yeah,
The
and
building.
to try
Maybe
and...
even draw people from inside out.
Yeah, I think if we can make it look like the lift is under attack or something, this is their key piece of infrastructure that they're basing their whole criminal organization around. At least one of them, their control of the way up into the city and back. So I think that if anything were to happen to that, it's worth deploying some of your best thugs.
Okay.
And I also don't think walking through the front door is necessarily going to be the right idea.
Yeah, and I do like the idea that once we free the Fae or whatever, maybe we just burn this place down and it sort of solves some of our problems.
Okay, so it sounds like you're going back to, after observing, crawling back from your hiding spot and then going back to Size to collect your allies.
Yeah, and maybe even like spend the night at the bar there, like seeing if there's anybody else who's got grudges or could be arm twisted, like if there's any Fae
Size?
in there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're heading back towards Size. On your way back to Sai, there's a cat that brushes up against Zephyros' leg.
Do I recognize the cat?
Yes, it is Shelsa.
Look who it is. It is Shelsa. Where's Luudo?
Can Pixel understand?
I don't understand what it's saying. It's speaking in familiar speak.
So familiars can't understand other familiars?
If only I was a cat.
Is there any notes tied onto it or anything?
Nope, she's just talking away.
Would comprehend languages do it?
You don't know, but that's a good idea.
I'll try it.
Okay, so you...
And then he went into the...
so you can understand the language.
Yes.
What the comprehend language is, and she effectively says, back room, in a boudoir, secret door, down some stairs, into bad place, Luudo down there with Spyder, and
Where foreskin demon.
bad dog with scary face, funny Fae, Luudo drunk, scary doctor, bad people, fairies in cage.
Well, at least he's in good spirits.
I'll meow at the cat for a while and question it about the whole thing that went down.
Yep. It escaped through one of the chimneys.
The secret door it's telling me about is the one Luudo used to get downstairs?
Yep.
Not the one we think may be somewhere down there to get into the basement.
She tells you there's a door out back. Couldn't open it, so she climbed the chimney.
Oh, okay. Out back, the side we couldn't see.
Yep.
I'll continue meowing at it and ask.
Luudo down there, they're talking to Luudo, making Luudo talk.
Mhm.
Well, luckily, Ludo's limited in what he can say.
Yes.
He doesn't know.
Did Luudo feel guilty